Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can tell them back after that. We can call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy, we're leaving. Darian, wait! I never liked you. Either of you. Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Machi had to say. And I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. Eek! What was that? He is heard but let me guess. He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? Oh, he is heard but unseen. Valent Gramarye! I exclaimed as he walked in through the door, normally. What? You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valent? Ah, a preposterous proposition. How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I tend to remain hidden for the entire day. Ooh, with vanishing magic. Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? A grand Gramarye glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell! And there he goes. You sure seemed happy about that illusion thing. Ooh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. Usually it involves cutting up things like people or elephants or the Eiffel Tower. Anything, really. So he was talking about what we saw at the concert. Lamawar's disappearing act. And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
The scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Huh? Something happened? This is a first.
It was what the judge's request. Some urgent personal business.
Great. I bet he stayed up too late last night, watching courtroom dramas.
Apparently he's visiting the hospital again.
The hospital?
I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning.
The Chief Justice's son? Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning? The judge said he had to go visit him after the trial.
There's an article about it in the newspaper.
You're very helpful.
If you care to read about it yourself.
Thank you very much. Incuratus? Where have I heard that before? I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV Guide page on to me. Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can. Alright, hold on. Let's give it a read first. Oh, that's it. The disease strikes closer to home than ever before. Incuratus syndrome, first case in country. First case, huh? Okay, interesting.
Ahem, my apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of, how do you say this name again?
Machi Tabai, our suspect fortissimo.
Right. It's his trial in any case.
The defense is prepared, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready to rock.
Is something wrong, Your Honor?
No, Well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time.
Incuritis, was it? That article said there is no known cure.
Herr Judge, let me say, with all honesty, I feel your pain. But now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law.
Indeed. We left off at quite the juncture yesterday.
I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romeo Latouche.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Shit. Forgot my cup. Damn it. I'll be right back. Hold on. This ends up being the only line. I mean, I doubt it, but if this ends up being the only line that Le Manoir says, I'm not gonna be so happy. Alright, sorry about that. It's just, you know, I've made a commitment now to this bit, so I'm not about to abandon it. Alright. Here we go.
Wait! That voice just now. It was him. I'm sure of it.
It was him?
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien.
No way.
Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darien would guest star on the season cliffhanger as a suspect?
I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings.
Darien Crescent is a member of my band, the Governors. He is also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware, Herr Fred? He has an impeccable alibi.
An alibi?
Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Governors ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guests took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Le Manoir, and Machi, along with a drummer and bassist, for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Le Manoir and the defendant, Machi Tobai, had left the stage at that point, and the Governors were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Skye, mind you.
And Apollo, you heard them too, right?
I sure did. Furthermore, Le Manoir herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say, she heard the moment of the crime. When she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescent talking.
But that's impossible. Detective Crescent was,
Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila. A perfect alibi.
Does the defense have anything to add to this?
A couple things, yeah.
Sure, when I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up.
It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darien Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged.
Which means that Le Manoir was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true.
Very well. Of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections...
Uh-oh, Apollo. If he declares the verdict now... Ack! Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. The Manoir might have been lying to protect Machi. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center?
About the case? What about the case?
He wants to tell us about Mr. Latuse's death?
This meeting's over.
Darian? Machi was trying to tell us something. I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him. Under oath.
Very well, the court finds the defendant. What was his name again?
Your Honor?
No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice.
Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness.
Exactly who else you need to hear from?
A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English.
You don't mean...
I do. The defense calls defendant Machi Tabai to the stand.
What? But he doesn't speak English.
We'll use an interpreter.
Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases, such as I love you and where's the toilet?
The defense would like to request Lamawar as the interpreter.
Amawar? But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant.
But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie?
This is most unusual.
Bravo, Herr Farhad. Herr Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lamawar lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that.
Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see a little cause for refusal.
Finally, some progress.
Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lamawar to the witness stand.
I suppose there's a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with, if you would, Lamawar.
Yes. He says Machi Tabai, the defendant.
This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really needed an interpretation of that message in particular.
So far, so good.
Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would.
Huh? If I would what, Your Honor?
Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about?
What do I want him to testify about?
Not that far yet.
Apollo, aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying?
Excuse me a moment, if I might speak.
Yes, Lamawar.
Just now, Machi said there is something about which he wishes to testify.
Machi wants to testify about something. What could it be?
What sort of testimony is he talking about?
One moment, please.
Ah, the suspense is killing me!
What?
What? What?
Well, Lamawar?
According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence.
What?
This is a surprise.
Yahoo! Victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that really means.
Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Machi, please testify to the court.
Very well.
Word that easy.
He says that word of Mr. Latuse's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, that is, he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely.
I wondered what he meant by proof. Why would he only have to ask... Why, he would only have to ask Lamawar to know the meaning of that song.
Lamawar? Did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him?
I did tell him generally what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked.
Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lamawar might be protecting the witness.
Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something is hidden in that testimony. I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday. It'll work today. Alright then.
He says that word of Mr. Latour's death came as a great shock.
Were Machi and Mr. Latour's close?
Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together.
Lamawa, this is Machi's cross-examination, not yours.
But I knew the answer.
This is a court of law. We'll play by the book.
I understand.
Well, Prosecutor Gavin's tough. He's really tough.
Machi says you was very good friends with Mr. Latour. Mr. Latour was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song...
The guitar serenade, you mean?
Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the keyring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. I, that is, he, could not have done it.
By could not have done it, you mean...
It is very simple. Machi could not have done all the things that happened that day. For all those things followed the lyrics... For all those things followed the song lyrics closely. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
Wouldn't it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics?
He did know what the song was about, its mood, shall we say. This was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar in love.
It's not actually the guitar that is in love, strictly speaking.
Oh, perhaps I misunderstood.
Oh, no, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation.
Okay.
No, it is my fault. I am too used to singing in Borginian. It is much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics.
Yay! I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Jersey. I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something is hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it. Oh, okay. I'm guessing that we need to find the tick on Machi, right? There's no way that Lemawar is falsely interpreting, right? I don't see her swallowing. It's got to be this last statement, but I don't know what we're looking for. The eyes? It's probably going to be after the English part. When in English, he does not understand them. Yeah, this bit. Okay. Probably something in the hands. Oh, can't go down any further. In the neck, lips, the eyes. Okay. Lemawar. Oh no. She's supposed to be screaming? Okay. I don't know. I think I just paused at a unfortunate time. It's gotta be something. Okay, it's gotta be something with the eyes, because we can see his eyes when we're perceiving. So we need. Okay. Right. Okay, let's try another statement. Let's try. If the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, he says the word. Oh, maybe this one? Let's try. Let's look into his eyes here. Oh. Pretty normal. Zeus's death came as a great shock. Beep 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 beep. Just the same
Same blank expression. Something in the fingers? I don't know. No? Okay. That's not it. Pass. Then maybe it's this, the third one? He could not have done it. Let's see. That is he, could not have done it. No? I'm going along with what the game is telling me, that we need to perceive something, not present something, so... Okay, well... We've already gone through 3 statements. This leaves only this one. Let's see. The killing truly followed the lyrics of my song. Oh. Nothing. There's nothing. So is it really Le Manoir that we have to... Okay, hold on. What about this newspaper? It doesn't mention the lyrics. Oh. Right. Never mind then. Because that was what I was thinking there. Publicity postcard. Yeah, so I don't really have anything to present on any of these statements, so... Okay. Let's try the last statement again. There's gotta be something we missed. Oh! Oh! Damn it. Okay. I missed that. Okay. Gotta go again. When she says English. Yeah. Wow, that's very precise. Look at that. I almost missed that. I almost fucking missed it again. Are in English. Gotcha. There you go. Gotcha. Machi. You can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Le Manoir said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you?
What are you saying? Of course he can't.
Must he continue the charade?
Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English.
Huh?
Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned a name for this language. That is all.
What? Give me a break.
Is there such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance?
Well, yeah, but...
I'm sorry, but he truly does not understand your language.
Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics?
Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper.
The newspaper?
The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland.
I was right.
What's wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they're quite fierce all of a sudden.
Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. I have here a Borginian newspaper. The Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics.
What? What is this all about?
I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper.
What does this mean?
Is he also an Interpol agent?
But I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes.
Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself.
So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less.
The witness will explain himself.
Machi says... He says...
Yes?
It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard of the lyrics from me.
What?
Is this true, Lemoir?
Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself.
Then it looks like Hellfire has been jumping to conclusions again.
Seems so, yes.
No. No. I was onto something. I know it. I can't let this chance slip away.
Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you going to do, Apollo? If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue.
If you must, you must. Very well. Witness?
I understand. It was I who explained that the crime followed the song.
Exactly how much did you explain to Machi?
Ah, this is a question for me, yes?
This interpretation thing is getting old fast.
I told him that Mr. Latouche had been killed and why he was a suspect, and I told him the crimes of that day followed my song.
Did you mention any particular words of the song relating to the case, such as heart?
Yes, of course I explained this. He was quite surprised.
Yay, I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Trissy. I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's truth, I'll find it. Huh. Okay, so it's gotta be this new statement, right? But is the tell gonna be the same thing? Let's see. Let's look at the eyes first, and then we'll look at something else. Surely he wouldn't do the same thing again, right? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. It's gotta be something else, right? Maybe something on Lemoir? The fuck? Wait.
Is this a glitch, or... Her mouth is not moving. What is this? This has got to mean something, right? Oh. Okay, never mind. Lamawar, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court it was I who explained.
I see there's little point in trying to hide anything from you.
Lamawar, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. Lamawar, you're protecting... Lamawar, you're protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you, but you've lied to us twice, and now you have Lamawar lying on your behalf. If this is gonna work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to.
K.O. Witness, is this true? Do you understand English?
Yes, a little only. Oh, should I give him Borginian accent? A little only.
What?
First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lamawar?
No, I did not. It is quite a surprise.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
Last. This is last.
Machi, can you tell us what really happened?
No shooting. I did no shooting. So, you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room, behind desk, manager he on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there's voice. Voice? Or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo? So when Machi went to the dressing room, Mr. Latus had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel high up. I take off. Run away, run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has upheld all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter.
Does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's clammed up, Apollo.
Let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait. No, of course there is. What is this cocoon anyway?
The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure.
A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler?
He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth for your own sake. No, no more speak. Not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, have I had. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse.
It does seem that the defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed.
Huh. Right then. Apollo Eustace.
That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some.
Believe, I know sure thing.
Machi claims Mr. Latouche was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it.
Suddenly, I hear a revolver. Close, very close. Then I hear a voice.
You heard gunshots.
Yes, it's true. I hear a revolver, but only sound.
Wait, you're saying you went to the dressing room and found Mr. Latouche already dead and then you heard shots? If that's true... So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots, and you escaped through the air vent.
I know.
Huh? What do you know?
I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something.
I hear this from magician.
Magician? Don't look at me. A magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Miss Latouche. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's gonna go over well in court. Not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So, what do we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi?
No talking, no.
Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon.
I can't go home.
Can't go home.
I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty of taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right. It's punishable by death. Of course. He's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. So, what's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right.
Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk.
Very well. So, will he testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
What?
Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around.
Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
Machi won't testify. Then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lamawar.
Lamawar?
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lamawar's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can...
Lamawar was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
What happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted Lamawar dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself.
What? I've heard no such report.
Prosecutor Gavin, why would anyone be out to kill Lamawar? Can you think of a reason?
Well,
Think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
You don't think...
I do. It was the same person who shot Miss Latus. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out.
so am I to understand that this is what you're saying? Namely, that there's a nugget of truth in Lemoire's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover?
Exactly.
I do like nuggets. If the Mawa was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lemoire's testimony once more.
Lemoire, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak.
You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this.
Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes?
That is correct.
At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window as the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice?
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there.
There is, it seems, much you do not know.
And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way from the stage at the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latus and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I am sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth.
Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible.
Do I have to repeat myself? Lemoire was attacked because of this testimony. What? Trizzy? Paul, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly examine the witness. Cross-examine the witness.
Alright.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. Is something wrong?
I know I said hold it, but she's saying the same thing she said before.
Mr. Justice?
Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony.
Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days.
The one in red over there is a shining example, Herr Judge.
You're the last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar.
That's when I heard them. Mr. Latus and the detective.
Darian Crescent.
I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you? That's impossible. There's no way you could have heard him.
Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why?
Of course.
Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. She's right. Maybe there is a different angle I can try. Lemoire, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I've given it much reflection, but
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard one phrase clearly.
A whole phrase?
You remember something that was said?
Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
The shooter, then. Darian Crescent.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche?
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
Sure. It's, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo.
From the small window, I heard a voice say, "Press the switch now."
And it was Detective Darian Crescent's voice.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
It's over. Press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Latouche?
Apollo, the murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Latouche's, right? Yeah. What of it? Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger. Because his English isn't so good. Darren Crescent is a native speaker. Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was that. Press the switch. That's not something a killer usually says to their victim, is it?
Was there no one else in the room?
I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot.
There were 2 gunshots.
Yes, I heard 2, one after the other.
That fits with the bullet holes at the scene. Nothing really new here to pick up.
There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but...
Why didn't you tell someone immediately?
Well,
If it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens.
This may be besides the point, but Lamar isn't a citizen. So one would hope such common sense prevails in Virginia as well.
The Mawar seems awfully quiet all of a sudden. That's strange. Could she be hiding something?
It is as you say. Yes, at the time... I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
You were in a hurry. To go where?
I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said.
Why were you in such a hurry then?
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case.
It very well might. Please answer the question.
Are you alright, Lamar?
Yes, I'm just tired.
Recall what I told you yesterday, Herr Farhat. Lamar suffers from serious amnesia. Please refrain from traumatizing her further.
Grr, what? So we can just dismiss questions he thinks are too traumatizing?
Why don't you prove her reason had a connection to the case before asking about it, yeah?
Prosecution's objection is sustained. Current question is moot. Mr. Justice, please continue with the cross-examination.
Number one was attacked because of this testimony. I know she was, so something's gotta be hidden here. Maybe there's some detail we're missing. I guess we'll just have to get her to fill in the blanks. Right. Sure, let's give this a try. Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words.
Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights.
True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens I have a switch right here.
That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it?
The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage.
The stage?
Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there.
On the stage?
Are you claiming that the voice Lamawa heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch?
It's a possibility.
Oh, Herr Forehead, I'd call that an impossibility.
Why?
It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lamawa's dressing room. Not to mention that the governors were in the middle of a concert on such stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So too have Herr Forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard.
Sorry. But he wouldn't have needed to shout.
Excuse me?
You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh, wait, you like evidence, don't you? Well, how about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this?
Why is that?
What? What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking?
This is a type of transmitter, a communications device.
Communications? Device?
From what I've heard, that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one on.
So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple?
True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
The Mawar said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet.
That can't be!
So, when Lamawa heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
Huh, you're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact.
Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooters had pressed the switch? Well, I guess we don't.
An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where this switch was, there's little point in debating it.
I'm sure this was the way to go with this.
What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact.
Wait a second. I do know what the switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo! We know about the switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mrs. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning the switch...
Your Honor?
Yes, Mrs. Justice?
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is?
Take that. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this.
That
That what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones?
This is an igniter. What phone looks like this?
Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually.
you aren't saying the switch is a remote.
I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter.
What?
Look, I'll show you.
Oh, yow, 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 yow! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom.
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected.
If my whiskers had caught on fire.
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you?
You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you?
Ah, exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got it in Borginia from Lamoir. He said the sound was amazing. Before it burned for us. Now it just kind of smokes.
The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Herr Feuerhead,
Yes?
don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamoir, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire.
I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Miss Latuus and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? Seems pretty simple to me.
Herr Feuerhead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
His simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set.
That's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Lamoir's song.
Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
See, his story makes no sense.
Are you sure about that?
But, well, now that you mention it, what exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that is fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act.
What's this? But Detective Emma Skyhead shot and found the body. All of this happened in the third act.
Gunshots rang out, and, according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting.
This is insane.
Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act.
What?
Order! 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 But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of the song, yes?
Hey, he's right. Look, the bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics.
You're saying the order was reversed on purpose?
Reverse, Prosecutor Gavin.
If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet her forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire.
Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. I would explain this most unusual situation.
It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second.
I was hoping it wouldn't have come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song, but I question your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning.
Flawed?
Yes, a contradiction here, Forehead. One I have pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window of the scene was closed. How could Lamawa have had a voice through it? Oh, I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you are basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise.
Right. Lamawar's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? What do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work?
I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lamawa heard the voice?
A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove and one thing only. Lamawar heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lamawar able to hear the voice? I'm almost tempted to pick this. I feel like this is also going to be wrong, but let's pick it anyways. Obviously, the window was open. It had to be for her to hear the voice.
News bulletin here, Forehead. That horse is dead. Stop beating it for our sakes. That window is closed. This is a hard fact reported by the investigation team.
But...
Oh, you have evidence to the contrary, perhaps?
Well, no, but...
Then do be quiet. I tire of this charade.
Grr, time to rethink this. Lamawar heard a voice. She heard it during the second set. Think, how is Lamawar able to hear the voice? Alright, I'll pick this, because there's no penalty, so I'll pick this. The window was closed, as you say, yet Lamawar could still hear the voice. Because she has the power of divine hearing. That's the only explanation.
The witness is a siren, Mr. Justice, not a saint.
I said hearing, Your Honor, not healing. Well, that fell on deaf ears.
I'm not sure I know what this divine hearing ability is.
So perhaps we should hear it straight from the all-powerful voice himself. Care to explain how clairaudience has anything to do with this case?
Can we just move on now?
Only if you can enlighten this court.
Time to rethink this. Lamawar heard a voice. She heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lamawar able to hear the voice? Alright. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, yet the shooter had no reason to close it had it been open, either. Meaning, it was impossible to hear the voice through that window.
Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Borginian, too.
As I was saying, Lemoir could not hear the voice through that window, so there can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this?
You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now, I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Herr Forehead? Lemoir clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene.
Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is. Oh my god. Really? Is that gonna be it?
Ah, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lemoir heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lemoir heard the voice from... here.
Does this look like a small window to you, Mr. Justice?
The state of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window on our society.
I didn't ask you to point out a window on society. I want a window on the crime scene.
Oh. No points for trying. Really? It's not the bullet hole? Okay. Small window we know about was closed. There's only one other thing she could have meant. Lemoir heard the voice from... It's gotta be the bullet hole, right? Speakers? I don't know. What is it? Is it the bullet hole? But maybe I picked the wrong bullet hole. Maybe this one. No. Okay. Where else can you hear a voice from? Guitar case? TV? Really? That's even more retarded. Okay, good, great. Alright. I was gonna say, well, what the fuck is it? Oh, wow, okay. We're going way back. It's not gonna be like it's not gonna be the window, but from the inside or something. If the answer is gonna be the window, that's gonna be dumb. So, okay. So what other small the vent? What? It's not a fucking window, it's a vent. I know she's blind, but I guess a vent makes more sense than a bullet hole. I don't know, man. Shit. This is where Lemoir heard that voice from.
But that's no small window. That's the air vent.
Yeah. What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window.
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond the ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lamawa was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice.
That's the only logical explanation. Yes.
Logical? I do not think sweat means what you think it means, Haverhead.
Okay, what about it isn't logical?
Ha! It hardly merits saying. Why would Lamawa be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat? No offense intended to her, of course.
The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lamawar? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes?
Yes, I admit it had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed, but why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
Problem here is words. Lamawar, this small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What? Fuck off.
Order! Order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify the statement to the court. Are you, in fact, saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact I was. I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point.
How would you think not? Why would you? You were on the roof. How would you think that wouldn't be important? Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? Good question. Drum roll, please.
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure I can't.
May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Let's hope so.
Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I'd heard there was a small window there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say.
Oh, because it's part of the magic trick she did? Right, okay. So as she was teleporting from one part of the stage to the other, she heard the gunshot. Huh. That must be it.
I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
Yeah.
Bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say you were in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set.
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail.
That's what the cross-examination is for. Yeah, Haverhead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
What are you going to do, Apollo? I'm gonna find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Alright. Here we go.
Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice.
Above the ceiling? Could you be more specific?
I cannot.
Because you're bound to secrecy.
Yes. To tell the truth, I was not supposed to even say I was above the ceiling. I dare not say more.
Doesn't sound like I'll be able to coax it out of her just by asking.
I had heard there was a small window there before.
By small window, you mean the air vent?
I only remembered I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see the light coming through the window, of course.
The event grade could trip you up, certainly.
So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshots. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard his voice come from the room.
Darian's voice.
I knew something terrible had happened, yet it was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard.
So, without a word, you just let the third set start.
After the curtain closed for the second set, there was still much to do.
You could have prevented this whole misunderstanding if you had only told us sooner.
Yes, perhaps I could have.
I see little point in badgering the witness. What's done is done. The mind works differently when one is in the middle of a performance. Why, I've lost my voice in the middle of a show and kept on singing, completely unaware.
Singing without a voice? If only all contradictions were so obvious. If only I could get Lemawar to talk. Pressuring her like this doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere.
As to why I was there, I cannot say.
You heard the gunshots during the second set, during your performance. You're quite sure?
Yes, why would I lie about the time?
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
No one asked me. I thought you all knew. I told you Marchi was not the killer. I told you this many times.
Yes, you did. But you never told us why.
I'm sorry. I was not able to speak of it.
Unable or unwilling.
He's not talking, Apollo. What do we do?
We'll just have to prove it ourselves. As long as she is bound by this pact of silence, she won't talk. But if I can prove why she was up there, she'll have to admit it.
But how are we going to do that? She was singing on the stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up above the ceiling, too.
Yes, she could. I've got a theory as to why, too. Maybe I've got the evidence to prove it.
I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
Exactly who bound you to secrecy?
I'm not sure I'm allowed to say who it was. No, I think perhaps that is alright. It is just a name after all. It was Valent Gramarye. Perhaps you know him.
Valent Gramarye? What?
You mean Uncle Valent?
What? Valent Gramarye? Who's Valent Gramarye?
A grand magician. The one responsible for the illusion performed during our concert.
Interesting reaction, Prosecutor Gavin. Lemawar was bound to secrecy. It's gonna take some hard-hitting proof to make her talk. I think I know why she was up there, but how do I prove it? Alright. What can we present to prove it? Something oh, there you go. Lemawar, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance.
What happened?
Yes, it's all right here. It's all right here on this video. I wonder if are they gonna make us point it out, or is it self-explanatory? Huh. Yeah. As we can see, Lemawar was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Oh! Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lemawar is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So, the only explanation is that she was hidden from view. and during that time she moved to the back of the form.
Apollo!
What, Trissy?
It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules.
But I'm a lawyer. I'm not.
It's supposed to be nice.
This is all very fascinating. How is it possible? There's only 120 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin?
This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage through the backstage to the rear of the form. Recall Lemoire's testimony from yesterday. Oh god.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
She went from the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of this route above the ceiling.
Lemoire knew of this because of her part in the illusion. She wasn't the only one who knew.
What?
Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something.
I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage on backstage. He said that.
Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin?
I knew about the vanishing act, of course, yet I had no idea of the routes that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me?
Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know.
Which is why he bound Lemoire to secrecy. Well, Lemoire,
I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's that. But I'm still a little confused.
why is that, Your Honor?
As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That is a good question.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Very well. Mr. Justice,
Yes?
it's all up to you. Do your thing.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how Lemoire was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater.
Why do I get picked on? It's Lemoire who isn't going along with the program here.
As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that not in detail.
Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please.
Right. I feel like a student before finals.
Good luck, Apollo.
Oh boy.
I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There is an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice.
2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens.
I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Lemoire is saying and what we can see plainly in the video.
I figured it out already. I am a magician, after all.
Well, tell me.
Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. Huh. The key is in the video, huh? Okay.
I followed the route exactly as I was instructed.
How did you proceed along this route?
How? Why, I won't.
But you are arrived behind the form much too fast to have been walking. Tell the truth, Lemoir. You rode some kind of vehicle.
What? A vehicle? What vehicle?
Huh, what a novel idea. I like it.
Hey, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad.
Yes, laugh at the dumb attorney. I don't mind.
I'm sorry, but the girl is right. That vent was much too small for vehicles.
Oh, now you're calling it a vent.
It was a tight fit. Even I had to crouch as I walked. I cannot imagine a vehicle that would fit in such a small space.
Arg, if it wasn't a vehicle, what was it?
You had me going for a while there, Mr. Jesses. Too bad. Ready for the next part?
Why do I feel like I'm on some kind of quiz show?
Ding ding ding. Round 2.
I'll take magic acts for 300, Judge.
There's an emergency exit in the backstage, where a stagehand waited.
Did everyone on the concert staff know about the trick?
Not all, only a few that were needed to help.
See, like I said, it's on a need-to-know basis. So, not many people knew about the trick.
What were these stagehands required to do?
One needed to open the emergency exit. The door to the stairs is locked, but once through there... From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage.
So when you came back out, you were behind the audience.
Yes, that is how it worked.
Not a bad show if I do say so myself.
That's Uncle Valiant for you, the old grammary touch.
But on the video, you were only gone for 20 seconds. How is that possible?
That's the part I don't get either.
Yes, it would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running.
Running in that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling.
Sir Tanny, have you forgotten? Dark or lit makes no difference to me.
That's true, but...
So you say that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes.
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway.
Lemoir disappears on the video for 20 seconds. She says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in that video.
Well, Mr. Joseph, perhaps you have some evidence for us. Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony?
Evidence explaining the discrepancy.
I don't want to watch the video again, but let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Think I managed to figure it out. Hold on. Yeah. There's a cut there. This video has been altered. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. The mixing board, I guess?
Aha! So this is it! The magical key to unlocking this illusion's dark secret. Tell us how it works. Quickly! I can't bear the suspense.
It's kind of hoping someone else would jump in at this point. Well, you see...
Herr Judge, I do hate to spoil the mood, but I haven't the faintest idea what he's talking about, and neither does he.
I'm a little confused too, there, Apollo. Right, by which I conclude that I was wrong. Better luck next time, Pollywog.
Mr. Justice, I'm holding you responsible for spoiling my mood.
Is that a tear I just saw in the judge's eye? Alright, nothing to do but rethink this through. The key's in the video somewhere, I'm sure of it.
I was on my way when I heard the voice.
And it was Darian's voice you heard. Yeah.
Yes, I'm certain it was him.
A matter best left for later, yeah? Put that forehead of yours to work on this illusion first.
Hold on, I think the identity of the killer is a little more important, don't you?
Important smortance. What? Important smortance. Objection overruled. Tell us about the illusion.
No use trying to avoid the problem at hand, Apollo.
Trying to avoid the problem? This is a murder trial. The killer is the problem.
The contradiction between Lemoire's testimony and the video. Unraveling an illusion can't be so different from solving a normal case, right? Sorry, Apollo, I'm not telling. Not even if you make those puppy dog faces. Fine, fine. Okay. Try this again. Can we... maybe we present... do we present the tape again? So won't be the evidence that explains the discrepancy. Oh, maybe if there's a cut, then there's a cut in the lyrics too. Hold on. Burning on in my heart. Hold on. Before that. The last lyric we hear before burning on in my heart is as I fly. Whoa. Whoa. Burning on... oh, no? Oh... if we use this igniter as a sinking point between the tape and the guitar ignite, yeah, maybe. Aw, shit. Is it gonna be the igniter? Am I overthinking this? Probably overthinking this again. Keys in the video, I'm sure of it. Okay, what if we say no? What kind of evidence could prove that? What's your professional opinion on this one, Trucy? Sorry, I don't work in evidence. I don't work in tricks! I'm an attorney, not a magician, for crying out loud. Really? I'm sure Daddy would have loved working on this. Thanks, that makes me feel oh so much better.
Well, I don't know about all of you, but I find this mystery fascinating. and I'm not letting this trial go any further until we get to the bottom of it. The defense will continue with the cross-examination until we have some answers.
Easier said than done. Huh. And that's it. Okay. Evidence explaining the discrepancy. Discrepancy between the video and the testimony. In the video it's 20 seconds, the testimony is 2 minutes. Explain the discrepancy. I'm starting to think that this isn't even the right line of inquiry. One piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. Seriously? What? Why would the brooch work and not anything else? Whatever. Move on. Lamawar, do you happen to remember this brooch?
Aha! The brooch! We saw that yesterday, did we not?
It was found on the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now? Why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped.
So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video.
Oh, is it going to be there? Is it still going to be there when it... I don't know. I just did this on a whim, and I don't know where this is going.
Here, you can see she's wearing the brooch.
So she is?
Let's look a bit later.
What? The brooch! It's gone!
What?
Yes, the brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds, and it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can be only one explanation. The Lamawar we see before the vanishing act and the Lamawar we see after, don't fucking say it, are two different people!
What?
The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene. Not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lamawar, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage at the very moment you witnessed the crime?
Yes, I think I did.
Order! Prosecutor Gavin!
From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Herr Judge. I, of course, knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time.
So, I was right. There was a switch.
There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lamawar was replaced.
While we're on the subject, who was this replacement Lamawar?
Why, the man behind the illusion. Valant Gramarye.
It was Gramarye? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing.
Yes.
The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage.
That's right.
But this fake Lamawar is still singing. And she's pretty good.
That's true.
Come on, Apollo. That's an easy one. They were just playing a recording.
The governor's had some kind of air guitar band, Fräulein.
Oh? You mean I'm wrong?
When we play a show live, we play live. No recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lamawar.
Very well.
Yes. Do tell, and add it to your testimony.
I had to keep singing, even while I moved.
Oh, come on. You were singing.
Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this.
Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage?
Why should it matter what I sing, when everywhere I go is the same darkness?
But if you were singing while you were walking...
That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and the victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads, after all.
That is right. And it's not the only issue here. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the scene of the crime. What say?
Ack, I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo.
The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Ah, that's for monitoring the stage from this room.
Monitoring?
It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set is coming up. Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. So, Lemoir singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lemoir singing over the speaker.
Ingenious! Her voice was hidden by her voice!
Lemoir?
I have just remembered something.
Do tell!
When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes, it startled me, so I stopped singing.
What?
I forgot the words I was supposed to sing.
The song stopped?
Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice.
Forehead! That mixing board I lent you, where is it? The mixing... huh?
That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks.
Oh, this? I'd completely forgotten about it. Let's take a listen. Fuck me. You know, there's another thing that happens when you're walking and talking. Especially if you're going... I guess if she was walking slowly, it wouldn't be that noticeable. But again, she's walking inside a metal vent. You'd hear clanking of the metal. The voice would be echoey. I don't know, man. The song does stop there.
It does? I must have missed it.
Look at the lyric sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure. Now listen again. If you're gonna replay this so many times, couldn't you bother like recording a little voice? You know?
This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lemoir's ballad.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turn around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Her forehead theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lemoir's testimony.
Yes? Is there a problem with this?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant? But you have no proof! All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man? You don't mean...
Yes. So he is a friend and band member. Darian Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way.
As someone with a new perspective on the case?
As a suspect, to be frank.
Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch it. Darian Crescent, get ready for justice!
This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well, court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. To be continued.